If you find it hard to make decisions on exactly where you want to go, you're not looking far ahead. If you know exactly why you do what you do, why you have certain goals, your decisions in the short term should be a lot more instant. And the only reason that they wouldn't be instant is you weren't clear on the path you were walking. You weren't clear on why you were doing what you were doing. From a business point of view, if I knew that I wanted to help younger guys get more clarity, build an amazing body, and be more confident, in the short term, I would know what things I would want them to do in order to reach that goal. And you can use this compass in your life. If there is confusion, if you don't know what to do and things aren't clear, maybe you're not as in touch with why you're doing what you're doing as you could have. And this is advice that I actually heard from a 3-day business event I went to from the man Cody. So props to him. And it absolutely rings true. Now let's take it from a fitness perspective, because I've been coaching fitness for 7 years now. If someone comes to me and says, hey, I want to lose weight, hey, I want to build muscle. If they come to a situation where they have a decision between 2 types of foods, I can very clearly tell them which one to eat and which one not to eat. Because we know why they're doing what they're doing. We know what their goal is. They want to lose weight. They want to inspire other people. Therefore, they have a very long-term vision that they use as a compass for all of the short-term decisions that they're confronted in. So, with whatever it is, make sure you really understand your why. And it took me a long time to understand what my why was, really, really clearly. And it develops over time, by the way, and it won't always stay the same either. But as you look through your life, you'll start to see strands. And I'll give you an example with me so you can evaluate yourself. Growing up, I was very shy, I was very reserved, and I wanted to be seen. I wanted people to recognize me. I didn't really get that from my family. I didn't really get that from people in a social setting, from a dating setting. So that embarked my journey to actually get in shape. Now, I didn't understand. I didn't logically register my why was to be seen. Like, all I knew was, hey, I want attention. What do I do to get attention, right? That's when I started getting in shape, focusing on building a body that would turn heads, so to speak. And that's when I also focused on playing piano, because it was something that I saw someone play and I was mesmerized. And I saw how everyone in the room would look at that person. I'm like, oh man, I got to get good at that too. And that's what embarked that journey. Then obviously going into the coaching space, because it changed so much of my life. But when I started connecting dots and looking back now, I'm 26 now, and that journey started when I was 15. I can see it's all the strand of the same why. The why was really just to be seen. Now, am I saying that's the answer? No. My why right now isn't necessarily to be seen. I'm sure there's parts of it, but it's not the main motivator. I have a lot of conscious awareness to it, because that why isn't really something that I want to have with me my whole life. But the why evolves, and the why evolves to, hey, I want to help other people who also want to be seen develop a version of themselves that is seen, but also a version of themselves that doesn't have the level of insecurity within them that feels like they have to be seen to feel validated, and to help them on that journey as well. But all of that became clear by actually looking at what inspired my actions at every single point in that journey. And when you can understand the psychology behind it, and whenever I figured out the psychology behind it is when I had other people help me and show me, and I saw it in examples of other people going to events and all of this. And I recommend the same for you. Like, get around people who will call you out. Get around people who've walked your path. For example, I signed up someone the other day for coaching with me. And he was telling me his entire story around things that he wants to do, things with his family. And I understand exactly what drives him and why. And the reason why he signed up with me is because on a previous call, I had called him out in regards to why he was acting in certain ways that he wasn't aware of. And that kind of opened his eyes to be like, oh shit, man, like there's more to this than I thought. Like, I didn't understand really the influence that had and how that's now negatively affecting my life. And it wasn't until he had been around someone who'd walked the path and could see it in them that he could develop that awareness. And now that he's got the awareness, he can be so much better at not letting that control his now future steps, that will then determine the rest of his reality. Because a lot of people, and the sad reality is that a lot of people don't know why they do what they do, and they let it run them. And if your why is one that can potentially be sabotaging, it will trickle into your life. But if you can develop awareness around the why and really ask yourself, is this really what you want? Is this why you're acting? Is this the why that you want to carry on in your life that will then influence your behaviors to create that outcome from that point of view? Or would you ideally like to rewrite that story and that narrative? But you can't have that conversation if you're not aware. So get around people who will call that out. Get around people who've walked the path you want to journey. People who have similar values to you. Because if they don't have similar values to you, they're not going to look through the lens of being able to create the world that you want to create for yourself. For example, if you value time and you value freedom, and you're talking to someone who has a certain result, like an external result, they've got money, but they've done it in a way because they don't really value having freedom and time, to where they're just in an office all day, they're going to tell you things that would put you most likely in their situation. So it's important that you find someone who has values that align with you and a lifestyle that aligns with what you want, and then get them to start paying more, to start calling you out and looking at behaviors that you're doing. And you're not putting all of your power and control in their hands, but you're going to have someone who's going to help you be more aware of these things. But at the same time, you must be extremely aware of your behaviors, and you must always ask yourself, why are you doing what you're doing? What's your compass? What's your guiding star? And those short-term decisions that you're faced with, what to do, when to do it, will become a lot clearer when you are thinking bigger. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why do I want this money and success? Oh, so I can have family. Okay, if my motivator is that I want to have a family, then in this short-term situation, when I have a choice to just double down on, let's say, building resources versus going out to the nightclubs, it becomes very, very clear to me that I've got to go build up some resources because my why is to build a family. There's no thought process of, oh, which one should I do? It's very, very clear because you know the why. So take that with you. The more you can understand yourself, the easier it will be to navigate in your life. I hope this helps.